Hey, hey. Hi, guys. Welcome back. All right. So I'm super excited to do a part three. It sounds like there was interest in it. A lot of you had some great questions that you would like added into this. And so we'll definitely do that. If you didn't see part one or part two, you'll definitely need to watch those first so you'll know what's going on here in part three, because I'm not going to do recap. In fact, I have literally an entire page of questions that you guys have submitted. And so I want to kind of honor those as much as I can, because honestly, it's most of it is the way I probably would have like driven the dialogue anyway to try to like pick up on the third part of this story. So a lot of you had questions. In fact, let me just give special shout out right now. Eliana, Ask Alicia, Feeling My Soul, Ariel, Moon, Maddie, Sassy Saggy, Deep In, Miss B, and April Fresh. I think they both had some of the same questions. Zakia Linnea, please forgive me if I said your name wrong, Serena, and Winter. So all of you guys collectively, you submitted some awesome questions, and we're going to get into all of those for this part three. I think that what I'd like to do is start out with, let's take a closer look at her, okay? And and then we'll go back and start to look at like the questions about like, why have there been these delays? Does he have other love interests? What is, like his family looking at this connection as? All of those things we'll kind of look at, I think, separately. But let's just talk about her, because she hasn't been the focus at all of my line of questioning, even though she is his focus. So if you remember from earlier today, all that time ago, what we had was a story where this fella was intending on sending a gift kind of incognito to his love interest, but he wasn't able to make any bigger offer to her. And so he was kind of like debating, do I send this gift incognito? I'm thinking about what she likes, who she is. I want to show her that I care about her, but I also can't like show up in her life yet. So what do I do? And we could see that, as we left in part two, it was like he was still saying, is it fair for me to reach out to her? But on the other hand, I want this person in my life. So for her, she comes across as a high priestess sideways. So she's empathic. She probably, and this was one of the questions also, does she even know that he's, out there hovering around? And I would say in a murky way, yes, because she's intuitive enough to know that someone's thinking about her. We have a 7 of Wands. This can be the energy of her kind of blocking it, pushing it to the back of her mind. This can also be that she's busy with her own struggles in life. She's a real problem solver. She uses her intuition pretty frequently in order to move forward in life. Hi, everybody. So great to see you. But she uses her intuition to move forward in life as a whole. We've got the 6 of Pentacles sideways. Sorry, I have to, it's really small writing. She is somebody who gives an awful lot of herself to anything, but I get this vibe from her that it's really hard for her to like shut off her intuition, even if she's trying to stay focused. I think her intuition could be getting like, think of a radio dial when you're listening to a particular station, but then you keep getting the overlapping of another station coming in. I'm feeling like this is what it is for her, because it's like, I'm trying to give to something in my life. I'm trying to make good decisions about what I'm doing, but how come I keep getting my energy interfered with? Okay, so hang on. Let's go ahead and let's jump in. I think Ask Alicia asked this question. What does she think and feel of him? We have Inspiration of Cups, Ace of Swords. Well, she may think that he owes her an apology. She may, if she thinks of him at all, it might be, he owes me an apology, but I'll probably never get it. However, normally the Ace of Swords is the sword of clarity, the sword that cuts things free. But this card is a contradiction because they chose to put a bird on it, which is both a messenger, a divine messenger, and birds are migratory, so they come back. So keep in mind, we're dealing with a high priestess who says how she thinks and feels, and then she goes, but I also can't help but pick up on other things that cross my wires a little bit. He owes me an apology, but it's over, it's done with. However, my higher self, my intuition, my connection to the divine tells me someday I'm probably going to hear an apology from him. This is the first time, because in part 1 and 2, we didn't really see necessarily that he owed her any apology. In fact, I was way more leaning toward this being somebody who hadn't really been a part of her world yet, but was wanting to be, but knew of her and was admiring her somehow at a distance. So we kind of need to know a little bit more about what their entire situation was. Okay, so as far as where she's at right now, is she dating? Is she single? Is she interested in somebody else? What's happening in her love life? We have an Empress in the reverse. I'm hearing that song, I'm Nobody's Wife and I'm Nobody's Baby. I like it that way. But then again, maybe there are monsters and there are angels. So we've got, she's nobody's wife. She's nobody's baby. We got the Queen of Pentacles in the reverse as well. And we have the Five of Pentacles upright. So at this moment in time, she's more concerned with other aspects of her life, not romantic partnerships. She's not seeing herself as somebody's Empress or as somebody's Queen of Pentacles. Not that she has a low opinion of herself or doesn't think she'd make a great partner, but it's just she's not playing that role. She is not offering her energy and resources to anybody right now. And in fact, it could have been a bit of a dry spell for her in, you know, some kind of you know, whatever this energy is. She's had not much going on in the love life, and we got holes in those sakis too. Synchronicity. She's a big believer that there is a brighter day ahead, and where it pertains to her love life, she feels like she's not actively going out maybe and trying to date people, but she feels like somehow the divine is going to play a role in my love life. I don't really have to go out and go try to, you know, cultivate relationships. I don't see her as like online dating. I don't see her. In fact, if anything, I think she's like, I never really meet anybody. I haven't in a while. I mean, this could be 5 months. This could be 5 years. However, she says, but I just know, I have this weird inkling that I've either been supposed to be single right now because I had other things to do, but the divine will be bringing somebody across my path. It'll be the right person. I already can feel that like that sunlight is kind of like daybreak is coming. She has a strong belief. So she's not lonely. She's not heartbroken. She's not, woe is me, when do I get some partner? She has a strong belief that this is the way it's supposed to be and that something is coming. Okay. Okay. Let's go ahead and ask, with him being on the outskirts of all of this, actually, hang on. No, let's go to Deep In's question, which is she even interested in the past at all? That's a great question. Six of Cups, she can't help it. This is somebody. Okay, so now we can go ahead and we can say, since she does know obviously who he is, and there had to have been some kind of a connection where she feels like he's a soulmate to her. Is she interested in the past at all? Let me put it this way. We'll always have a connection to a soulmate, to a soul group. And she's wise enough to know it's not even about wanting or not wanting. It's just, it is, you know. But would she want the past back? Soulmates tend to cross our paths, and this is upright. So there's a part of her that says, if they're coming back anyway. If our work isn't done yet, if our energy still is, it's almost like she's saying, I know he's not forgotten about me any more than I've forgotten about him, because how do you forget, like I'll say, not that this is at all the same, but like, how do you forget the first friend you ever had in your life? You know, you always remember your first best friend. Even if you don't see them for 70 years, you always remember that first best friend that you ever had. So I'm going to say, and I'm not saying this was her first love. I'm just saying that it's a bond that you can pretend that you don't remember them, but you do remember them. Some lovers you don't remember, some lovers you do. It depends on what the level of bonding was. And this was obviously a significant bond. So does she want the past at all? I don't know that she's like wanting it so much as she is acknowledging it is what it is. Interestingly enough, we actually have a Valentine card here, and we have a single rose, and we have like a postcard. I'm thinking that once upon a time in the past, he was not there for her at Valentine's Day. I'm hearing, I love that song so much. I didn't mean to miss your birthday, baby. I wish I'd seen you blow those candles out. I'll be there for you. These 5 words, I swear to you, when you breathe, I want to be there for you. Okay, so this kind of looks more along the lines of, I don't know that she's hoping for him to come back. If anything, she keeps saying, yeah, but it's not going to happen. But I know something is going to happen for me. She's not hanging any of her thoughts on him. Does she have any inkling that he is like hovering so close outside of her energy field that he's that focused on her? We saw her kind of knowing something, but not necessarily to that extent. Action of Cups, you notice that we have only the shadow of the rider, and we have this big long, this is like her thought process is long on this one. Great distance. It's more like, because we don't really see them, he might flit through the catacombs of her mind, but not come front and center. It's interesting because she's so intuitive, but her intuition is not like dialed in to the minute to the second. It's more like she hears, okay, let's put it this way. Somebody that is really like a musician, they can listen to a piece of music, a whole orchestra, and their ear can pick out all the different, sounds. Like I can't. I hear it as like this big cacophony of beautiful sound, and some instruments I might be able to sort out, but the mystery of what makes, that huge drench of music is like a mystery kind of lost on a non-musician like myself. So I'm thinking that she's a little bit along the lines of like, she can pick out the different little sounds in her intuition, but it's like this is a little teeny tiny flicker of a sound. It's not front and center. If she was listening to a piece of music, they would be like the little wood blocks that are played softly in just little components of the piece of music. They wouldn't be the big drums. They wouldn't be the, front and center big melody. So it's like she's aware of them. She hears them out there, but it's not front and center. It's more, again, like this murky, I'll probably hear from him someday, but they are definitely not on her mind. Like, oh, I know that he's right there and he's thinking of me and he's trying to figure out what Valentine gift to send me and all of this. I feel like we have to go down the road of Valentine's Day for a second, because how uncanny that we get this card that has Valentine's Day on it. And I feel like since that's where we started this storyline back this morning on part 1, let me ask, what is the significance of Valentine's Day? Embodiment of Wands, because this is the person he's wanted to give his heart to, right? The embodiment of Wands is the King of Wands. This is the person who wants to give his entire heart to her, and that's what Valentine's Day is. I give you my heart. Granted, that's, we give flowers, we give candy, we give those kinds of things, but it's supposed to be the example of, I can't take my heart out of my body and hand it to you, so I'm going to hand you this box of chocolates anyway, but know that this is my like substitute offering that tells you actually have my heart when I give you this rose, or when I give you this box of chocolates, it's actually that I'm giving you my heart. At least that's what I think it's supposed to be. I think that gets lost in translation and just becomes a lot of consumerism sometimes. But the reason it's so important is, and maybe the reason he wants to do this so badly is because that is the sentiment. That's what he's trying to say. And if you remember back in part 1, our first card out, and the whole reason we've even gone down the road of Valentine's Day is because we had an Ace of Cups, and it was a perfume bottle with a heart drawn on it, and instantly my brain went to like, is this a Valentine's Day gift? And then we got a few more cards that followed that theme. Okay, and here's the other reason that he wants, why Valentine's Day is so important. It's because he's been hiding for so long. And this is good for us to kind of shift over to him now, because we had a lot of questions also. Why the hiding? But like, that's a lot of people wanted to know that, like, why the delays? Why go so long without communicating? Why this spying from the trees? Why that? Okay, let's change decks, because I don't want to like overuse a deck. Okay, ooh, he's in a hot seat now. Let's see. King of Cups, that doesn't explain anything. Why the hiding? He's a very perturbed King of Cups in this. Ace of Cups. He's not answering the why. Unless the why is that he was in another connection, he was somebody else's mate. Oh, Michelle, thank you. You are so generous. Thank you for that beautiful donation. He is not, I don't know. I'm not going to go down that road yet. Although that is another question. Does he have other love interests other than her? That's a question that was posed also. But hang on, let's stay on target here and say, why has he been hiding in the shadows? I mean, it's like he's wanted to be her Valentine over and over and over again, but why do you hang out in the shadows and lie about that? It's like he's keeping her a secret, or his love for her a secret, or masking it, or pretending that he's not still focused on her when he is. And then our answer is King of Cups with the Ace of Cups. Hang on. I mean, is this somebody who doesn't have an easy time expressing their love? We saw him in something possibly like a legal battle or something that he needed to wrap up in part 1, or maybe it was part 2, but we'll get to that question too. There is the hiding it, the holding back all this time is because everything had to go at a slower timeline. The amount of emotion that he has in order to offer her something appropriately, the big offer. This is that same card from the beginning of part 1 out of a different deck, but that Ace of Cups, his entire cup of love, his whole heart, everything he'd like to offer her, he knew right from the gate, I'm not going to be able to give her that. This is all delays. And we go back to like, it almost feels like somebody has teleported into like, look at him. He's got his like scimitar here and he's ready to fight. And it's like, my life, if I could teleport and be with her and give her the love and just be with her, that would be one thing, but I can't. It's going to be a long time because in truth, I got to teleport back to the battlefield that I'm actually on. It almost feels like he bounced into her life, got a taste of like, God, I love her, but I can't be in her world yet. And then bounced back into his complicated life. Okay, let's get into, lay bare the complications here. What the hell is the deal with the potential legal battle or whatever it was that he had to deal with? 3 of Wands, 6 of Wands in the reverse. Something he didn't think he could win. Something that has a little poisonous mushroom involved, and it was impacting his future. It was taking away his power, his ability to feel like he could have a future that would be his own. I don't know. The fact that we have this little poisonous mushroom traipsing along, I don't know if he made a mistake somewhere in his past and it was having longer implications. It was preventing him. This could have been like a legal battle that went on and on and on, and he didn't know if he was going to win it or not. What is the, I feel like, oh, Ace of Swords. I feel like he literally realized I have to deal with the mess that I've got. First and foremost, maybe he never buckled down and just handled what he needed to. He didn't either, maybe he had been delaying stuff and not really wanting to wrap something up. And then he meets her and it changes. And it's like, okay, it's time to face the music. It's time to go ahead and speak a truth, face whatever it is, because I can't keep these shackles on me anymore. I have to get myself out from under whatever this is. Why did you not tell her point blank, I have a big, huge mess. I can't be with you right now, but I really love you. Why didn't you just say it? 5 of Swords, 9 of Cups. Okay. I'm going to say, because he did something selfish right out of the gate. And it was too late. Meaning he met her, maybe he leapt into some kind of romantic connection with her because he was being self-serving. I want her, I love her, and I'm not going to tell her my secrets or anything, that I've got this big old mess. I can't offer her anything, but I really want her, so I'm going to satisfy my desires. And then, oh crap, if I tell her now that I don't have anything to offer her, in fact, I'm embroiled in a big fatty mess, she's going to get really mad because she's going to say, wait a second, you did what? And you didn't clean it up. And then you started something with me that you can't finish. And it's going to be a fight. And she's going to know, she's going to understand all of my secrets. This is stuff in their closet, right? This is the skeletons in the closet. It doesn't mean this is a horrible person who did horrible things, but let's just say it's something that they didn't wrap up. Like, okay, I'm going to say it like this. We'll just give an example. Let's say he hadn't paid whatever, back child support. And so wages are garnished, and maybe he's like required by the courts to not, you know, whatever, cross state lines, or he can't travel internationally or something until he pays that back. And let's say it's a big amount of money. And let's say he hasn't been trying to pay it off. Then he meets her. Maybe she lives in a different place. Maybe she dreams of going places, traveling with him, going all over the world with him. And he's like, oh, crap. I'm going to have to tell her I can't go anywhere. I don't have my passport, you know, and I can't get it back until I actually go ahead and go through the legal battles, and then we settle it. But I'd been dodging settling it for a while. I was just letting it kind of roll along and not really just handling business so that I could free up my life and move on to the next chapter. Look, I'm not trying to call this person a deadbeat dad. I'm sorry I even used that example, but I was just trying to think of what would it be for an example that would hinder somebody. That could be something that goes on and on and on. And money is hard to, you know, come up with, and complications, and exes that want this and want that. And, you know, legal battles are, I think it's pretty universally understood that nobody wants to have to get into, like, you know, exes and trying to figure out how to end connections, if it was even that. I'm not saying it was, I'm just trying to give an example. But the bottom line is, if he started a relationship with her, or a passionate encounter with her, but actually really loved her, and then was like, I can't even be with her. I can't even give her what I would want to give to her, what she deserves. And now I'm going to have to tell her that I started this out by hiding something really important. And it's something that makes me look really bad because I haven't handled it. These are the skeletons in my closet. She's going to be so mad at me. So this is maybe the reason he has been gone and has not wanted to come forward, because then you're going to have to face the music. Why staying away? Because if he comes back at all for any reason, and he hasn't dealt with this yet, the question is going to be posed. Where have you been, and why aren't you just here? What is the thing that's preventing you from being with me? That's going to be the question that has to be answered. And he doesn't want to answer it, because also it opens up the door to the past, and his past that he didn't quite finish. Okay, that's a pretty hefty one, right? I wish that that's not the road that we had to go down on that one. It's so, is that at all? I mean, we called it like stagnation before in the other videos, not like this big secret. The only reason I had to go that route is because we have the skeleton. So it's something of the past that wasn't fully dealt with. Queen of Wands. All of this stagnation, I think, is also because, at least I'll say this, to his credit, he wants to give her a lot. He wants to give her everything she's worth. And he can't do any of that. I have to ask this. Why did you go 9 of Cups on her? Why did you try to get what you wanted from her, knowing that you couldn't be free enough to give her what she deserved? King of Wands. In this, I mean, how many times is he going to come out as a King of Wands who sees her as his other half, right? He's King of Wands here. He's King of Wands here. We see him saying, but I'm in love with her. She's meant for me. I'm meant for her. This is my person. That's not I'm not trying to give anybody a pass, but I'm not going to say, well, he couldn't help himself, because he's in control of his own behaviors, right? But we can see his life was pretty barren at that point. And then he met her, and his emotions for her have always been real. Did he maybe indulge himself selfishly to get a chance to be with somebody that he's like, but I'm meant for her, like this is meant to be, and conveniently pushed to the back of his mind the fact that, but even if she's meant for me and I know that we would be amazing together, I can't just pop into her life and start to live the happily ever after until I deal with what I have to deal with. I think he conveniently maybe pushed her off to the side, maybe because he was wowed by her, maybe because he just fell head over heels in love with her. Okay, you know, we're not gonna beat this character up over this stuff. It's just, it is what it is. Okay, so let's, because Ask Alicia said, why does he think she might even be single on Valentine's Day, right? He's thinking about sending this gift to her. And I think that he should have been her Valentine every every year, or I don't know if it was years that he hasn't been there, but he should have been her Valentine. He should have been giving her the kinds of, you know, attention and love, not just on Valentine's Day, but every day. But this is like, it's particularly momentous because he wants to give her his heart. But why does he even think that she is somehow still available? I mean, granted, we already saw that she actually is single right now, but why does he even think that? We've got the Teacher, which is the Hierophant, and we've got the Ace of Cups in the reverse. He believes somehow in his connection to his higher self, he would know it if she was in love with somebody else. He just believes that. And I say that because, especially here, Thoth is the god of all wisdom and knowledge. The Hierophant is the connection to the higher self, the higher realms. It can be a card of marriage. It can be a card of, you know, just like he knows enough about her, obviously, to know how she is when she's in love. If he has been that leopard in the trees spying on her, he might simply be able to read her, you know. But he's also saying, with that sense of like that sensitivity here with the octopus tentacles, he's like, I would know. I would just know if she loved somebody else. I don't know how, but I'm just positive. So he's convinced that somehow, I mean, maybe that would be wishful thinking on his part, that like she can't be with somebody else because she's supposed to be mine, even though I haven't been there, even though, you know, I haven't taken care of what I needed to get to her. Okay, is he going to take care of what he needs to? You know, and like, how close is he to this? 10 of Wands, 9 of Swords. He is, but he's got a ton of stress. This could have been something to do with legal battles with, you know, a child, a mother of a child, father of a child, whatever. And I only say that because that's what we see here. But there's also fear, guilt, shame, remorse surrounding this, and also a very heavy burden. I mean, hopefully he didn't have a secret baby on the way when he met her, or he didn't find that out after he'd met her. No, my impression is he already knew what his circumstances were when he was so indulgent and head over heels to have met her and fall in love with her. But what is getting wrapped up in his life? Yes, things are getting wrapped up, but why the big stress? What's the 9 of Swords about? I mean, is he starting to get this stress because he's getting really close to be able to come into her world? Messenger of Coins in the reverse. That's about still not reaching out. He's super stressed because he still can't reach out yet. Why? Strength card and the Devil. He is held in some serious... is he in jail? Or is he on like a... I'm seeing an ankle bracelet in my head on this story. Please remember, these are fictional stories, right? About fictional characters, but we see somebody in a jail cell here. And those bonds are strong, and he's having to stay strong as he still deals with this. Look, things could have gotten really ugly and unfairly ugly on his side. There could be something that's really like, you know, sometimes even if you just can't pay your fees or something, or you have a fee imposed, you know, it can be very restrictive. This is the first time we've seen something that was a cage. So that could be why he's like, I can't reach out and tell her I love her, because why am I not there then? That's why I think he wants to send a gift incognito, which is from his heart. It is a substitute for what he'd like to offer her, but he can't. He's still so stressed out because even if something is getting wrapped up, there might still be repercussions for him for a bit longer. Okay. Okay, hang on. 4 of Pentacles. He definitely is still having to hold back for a bit before he has his freedom. This card is always like my single, free. Maybe I don't have much to my name, but I can hit the road. I can be on my single serving size vehicle. All I've got to my name is a motorcycle. It gets great gas mileage and I'm free. He's not there yet. He is absolutely not there. He's still, and he's on eggshells right now. He's, or at least I would say this is his deep plie has got to be pretty tough to hold because he's also on point. He is holding his breath for the moment that he's actually finally released from something. So that's the real reason he cannot reach out to her at the moment, because he can't like follow it up with, hi, I'm going to be here, but he wants to send this. Hang on. We should, before I move on, we should go ahead and touch base with like, what is either like people around him. What do they think about this whole situation? I don't even know if anybody knows about this situation. 3 of Cups. Hang on. The Chariot and the 6 of Cups. Oh, people around him do know this. People around him know that the day he's free, he's headed her way, which is weird because my first instinct was to say maybe there's gossip, but I didn't know if it was going to be good or bad gossip. But we got the teacups on their heads, like, oh, they know the truth, whether they say it out loud or only amongst themselves. Like there's a group, maybe he has sisters, maybe he has, mom and sisters, or it feels like a group of, I'm not going to say like gossipy biddies. It doesn't come across mean spirited at all. But there's like a group of possibly females in his world somehow, families or something, that they know who she is. They know that the day he is free to go, they know exactly where he's headed because they know him pretty well. Okay, let's get to the other question of, so wait a second, does he have any other love interests? My impression is no, because I think his life has been a train wreck and a half in this storyline. We have got the 10 of Wands sideways. We got the Page of Cups. Well, I guess I would be wrong, wouldn't I? That is possibly what the entire issue had been. Did he find out a little too late or something that he had a baby on the way? Because pages can be children. Is this something that he tried to like hope that, like, oh, well, I did meet somebody. I met them first. I had a, relationship with them. We didn't work out. Then I moved on. Then I get a call that, hey, we might be having a baby. And he decided to act like, oh, we're not together. I doubt that it would be my baby anyway. I'm going to act like this isn't even happening. And then he meets her and just conveniently ignores that part. Hopefully nobody ever doesn't want to pay attention to their own baby. But this can represent a child sometimes. Or maybe it's not that. Maybe he had an obligation to a former commitment. It's a stressful situation that was not wrapped up. And there was something that, like, maybe he owed something, maybe it was money, but maybe he owed something to a person. Maybe he even felt guilty about the fact that he had not been the greatest previous partner to that individual. So did he have another lover? It's a complicated answer because it's kind of no and it's kind of maybe, but not in a like, well, I can't decide who I want. I've got this other person. I'm kind of cooking it with them. That's not what we see here. It's more of a, there was some other obligation, but the obligation is almost like, I can't not do right by this other person. It was like a pre-existing situation is what it looks like to me. Okay. Well, again, I'm going to zip it for a second. Never mind. Universe, weigh in on how he's handled all of this. Because otherwise I'm going to say something rude. We have the Fool in the reverse. The universe is like, he had no business taking a leap of faith in a new direction. Okay, good. That's exactly what I've been thinking. It's like, what the hell? What are you doing? The Tower. The universe says it's cut and dried. You shouldn't have moved toward her until you were done with another situation. And if you knew when you met her, it is really time that I get my other situation squared away, you should have said, I really like you. Can I come back to you after I've got some stuff I got to clean up and you're my motivation to go do it? The universe is like, that was the way to handle it. Okay. We're not going to weasel around that. There was a right way to handle it and there was a wrong way to handle it. And I think in this storyline, this looks pretty blunt. You did wrong on this one. 6 of Swords. You needed to close a chapter and you needed to be completely clear of it. And you needed to make sure that you honored whatever you needed to honor. They might have had somebody and they had a child with that somebody else. And maybe they were trying to conveniently act like that wasn't going to be an obstacle when in fact it was. He owed a debt to that little life that he brought into this world. I mean, I only say that because we have a mother and child here. in this storyline, we can't get around the pictures that we see, right? So, okay, so universe, what is the advice to her in all this? Because I mean, this is kind of it's a tough story to like, right? It's a really tough story to like. The advice to her is look to her own future. 3 of Wands. If we go back to what we saw for her, she's out here with that serendipitous belief that I know that what's right for me is going to come in. I can feel like the divine is out there for me. And the universe is like, keep thinking about your future. Absolutely. Your ship is coming in. I don't know that it's him, but let's see. We got a 10 of Wands, which has been heavily associated with him, right? We've seen it twice. We have the Temperance card, and she's a bit boobalicious, so we have to cover her. And we have the Palace of Wands, which this is the heart. The universe says for her, the advice is keep looking towards your future. Don't let anything hold you back. Especially don't stress or worry or fret or carry guilt or shame or anything on his behalf. She is not some homewrecker. In this storyline, there's nothing to do with his situation that cross lines with her. He made his choices that the universe says were not good choices that he made. But for her, she doesn't bear any of the burden of this. And for her to only look to her own future without having to worry about him, think about him, her mind shouldn't be on him. She doesn't have anything to be concerned about. Whomever, if she meets somebody else, the divine brings her somebody else that she falls head over heels in love with, go for it. She doesn't have to say, oh, but what if they were trying to come back to me? I mean, they loved me so much and they've been trying to set things right so they could get to me in time. Nope. The universe says, you don't worry about him. Nothing about what he's going to do or if he's going to show up, nothing like that. You don't have to worry about it one way or the other. If you fall head over heels for somebody else, you give them your heart and you don't look back. If he comes back and he's the one that you want to give your love to, you don't have to feel guilty about that either. You follow what's right for you. You follow your heart. Nobody, and don't let other people's what they did, what they didn't do, how it's supposed to go. This isn't even about, for her, it's not about like, is this right? Is this wrong? It says, don't get cerebral about what she wants or what she's going to be drawn to. She just gets to follow her heart on this one because she's not the one with the complications. She's not the one who created the complications. So she doesn't have the guilt to bear, and she definitely doesn't owe them anything. But if she wants to be with them despite all this, she doesn't have to be like, well, I can't because what they did was wrong. They shouldn't have handled it that way. It's like, you don't have to make a judgment call for what your heart wants based off of somebody else's actions. I mean, honestly, I think that's kind of a great message because otherwise we could say for a million different reasons, like she might actually want them, but she's like, I could never be with somebody who behaved, he made a mistake. And that could be the wrong choice for her if that's not really how she feels. It's just saying she doesn't have to cheat herself out of whatever it is that she wants based off of other people's behaviors and mistakes that other people made. All she has to worry about is doing what her heart says. I think that takes a lot of the pressure off of her. Okay. Some of these questions we kind of have already touched upon in different ways, but some of the questions here is like, is he coming in with a serious offer when he comes in? And why is he coming in now? I feel like that kind of already has shown up. He's trying to send this gift at this point in time because he's getting really close to being able to finally have this situation wrapped up. And it's kind of like he is so overdue, like the kind of love that he should have been giving to her all this time and wasn't able to. It's like he's trying to at least tell her for his own sake to express like, I cherish you, I love you, you hold my heart. But he's feeling like I can't even tell her that it's coming from me because I can't follow it up with me really being there. And that brings us back to where we were at the end of part 2, which is he was thinking in his head, like, I think it's unfair that I'm going to try to send her some gift mysteriously to say that she's my Valentine, but it's really for him. Like, he wants to give his heart to her, but he knows he can't give her anything else just yet. So we're at that point where let's go back to that. And in fact, let's choose another deck and say, universe, do you want to weigh in on this? Ooh, I'm going to go with a tough deck. Okay. Here we go. Three of Swords. What universe is saying, the acknowledgement is how excruciating this whole experience is. Like, that's part of why he wants to send this. But is it because he feels like he broke her heart and betrayed her? Is this actually a way to say, how do I even begin to tell you how sorry I am that I betrayed you and us? Page of Pentacles sideways, Eight of Pentacles. It is the real meaning behind him wanting to send this is it's a combination of all the things that I can't tell you yet about how much I swear I'm going to fix everything. But this is what I live in. I know that I betrayed you. I swear, even though I can't tell you yet, I'm going to fix things if it's the last thing I do. That's basically what the Valentine is for him. It's not even about like, you hold my heart. It's more like, I swear that I will fix this. This has been some time. He may have aged. He may have lost some hair. He may be prematurely gray. So are you sending this? Nine of Pentacles sideways, Queen of Wands upright. He still doesn't know. And he's going to focus on her. He's going to keep thinking about her. He thinks of her pretty much day and night, night and day. He still can't decide, is it wrong of me or right of me to do this and do it incognito? Universe, do you want to weigh in? I think we better. And I need a sip. Hang on. Universe says, slow your roll, cowboy. Or does the universe have, this is the Chariot, this is full steam ahead, but go slow? What? I don't know. I don't know. Universe, weigh in on this again so I can understand. Knight of Cups. No, I got to understand, is it, because this is, if it had been any other Chariot card out of any other deck, I would have said, oh, the universe says send it. Because we got a snail on it. Does the universe say, wait, do not send this on Valentine's Day because you're not there to be her Valentine. You have no business trying to send her something that you can't back up with what the rest of Valentine's Day represents. So you slow your roll until you can show up and you can be there. Until you're moving toward her, you don't say word one. I could interpret it that way. I don't know. I'm 50-50 on this. Tell me about the Chariot. Six of Cups, Queen of Pentacles, the Magician. The universe is saying to him, how serious are you about her? Think of it from her viewpoint. You want her, you respect her. She's everything you want. And remember back in part one, she was a Queen of Pentacles. In this storyline, she's, emerged as a Queen of Wands for him as well. But think about who she was at the very, very, very beginning. Think about how do you approach that woman? Because we know you're all, so in love with her and all that. But think about you are actually going to try to have to win her back for the first time ever. Because you already got a hold of her when you had no business doing so. But now here you are wanting a second chance with her. How do you think you should start? You already weren't truthful with her in the past, right? So you want to send her a Valentine's Day incognito, which keep in mind, all she knows of you is somebody who's hidden things. So you're really going to start out again. Think about who she was at the beginning. Was she giving to you? Was she loving? Was she transparent with you? And that's what you owed her. But at the time you didn't do that, right? But you felt like she was a soulmate and you wanted to manifest the world with her. Maybe you should wait until you can actually do right by her for the first time ever and not do any more incognito. Maybe you should try to really treat her the way you should have on round one. And maybe you shouldn't approach her until you can do that. Because otherwise what you're doing is you're still greedily trying to do what you want instead of showing up with an offer for her where you're pursuing her straightforward and honest so she can proudly say, oh, this is my partner, this is the person I'm dating, this is. She shouldn't have a secret lover who isn't there for her. Now, this is what the universe is suggesting to him, to think about it through her eyes. I'm not saying that that's right or wrong per se, because if he considers all that, he might still say, yes, that's exactly why I have to start giving to her the way I'm supposed to. And I could see the argument being made for that as well. But let's ask her, what would you prefer? Right? Because we still didn't check in enough with her. What would you want? The Emperor, the Seven of Pentacles. You, and I don't even want to say you as if she's talking to him. What she wants is an emperor. An emperor doesn't hide shit. An emperor owns every word they say. An emperor stands there and they make their decree and they stand by their words and they don't hide anything because they're proud of what they've done. They own their own mistakes. They don't fucking hide. They stand in front of the door. They open the door. They don't keep skeletons in their closet. They don't hide anything because they're like, yeah, I handle my business. I've made mistakes. Of course I have, but I've also handled it. I'm not ashamed, and I certainly don't pretend stuff. That's what she's expecting. She wants, that's the only kind of long-term situation she would ever consider. Okay, given that that is her expectation, I do not think they should be sending secret presents to her if they cannot back it up. I think we can say definitively that would be a very bad idea for them to send secret presents to a woman like her. She is not going to like that. Let's actually ask that. If he sends you presents and later you find out that that was him, what are you going to think? What are you going to think? Four of Pentacles. Once again, you're doing things on the down low. You're hiding stuff. You're keeping things. You always hold back what you want to. You're never transparent. The Four of Pentacles is holding on and holding back. And this might even be enough for her to say, say he sends her a present. She doesn't know it's from him. Later on, he shows up in her world. And then he eventually says, that was actually, did you get something on Valentine's Day? I said that. She might be big pissed. She might be like, you weasel. You sent secret presents? That was you? You couldn't even sign your name to it? So you withhold information you did back then. And then you withheld information again from me. So that's all you do, right? You're just the kind of person where you decide on a need to know basis what I need to know. I do not see this going down well for her at all. She does not want secret presents. She does not want secret anything from what we can see here. Okay, bam, that's it. This would be an epic fail if he sends secret presents. It's got to be transparent and straightforward. You know what a relief this is? Oh my God, I've been like, gut clenched in this one. I so did not want this, the mystery and intrigue. It seemed like so much juvenile drama. Now I can say it because that's exactly how she'd feel about this. In this storyline, I'm like, I totally understand that motive. So it's easier for me to tell a story that I could relate to, I would picture her. She's already a high priestess. She already works in the murky world by having to like decode stuff and picking up on things. But that's not what she wants in a partner. She wants something straightforward. So I can understand where it's like, no. Let me ask this. How did she ever attract him? Is it because she's a high priestess? Is that why? Because in the murky world that she can operate in, I don't know, Seven of Cups. This could have been a divine counterpart, or maybe it is just a mystery. She's not even sure how. She might even be a little confused about like how did she end up at some point in time with them. Even though, we've seen soulmates coming up a couple times, so we know that these two were probably going to encounter each other, but obviously they didn't start out on an honest foot with her. So there's a lot of information she didn't have and had to try to either piece together or had to try to understand without any facts. Okay. This is let's see. Do we have anything else here? I guess where we should go with this for our final question is just, is this going to pan out at some point? right? We can already see if he sends a secret gift, oh, there's no dice. This isn't happening. She's going to drop him like a hot rock the day she finds out that it was him if he sends a secret gift, which means he has one of two choices. Either you don't send that gift until you show up and you're real and you try to win her back, or you send it and you sign it with your name and you come clean. So what's he going to do? Let's just get down to it. Ace of Swords. Are you actually going to send it and sign it and actually open up? The Tower. Wow. This actually says at the last minute, he may decide to send a gift, and he knows, however the chips are going to fall, it's time I come clean. It's time I drop all the walls, all the hidden everything, and it's time I just lay it out. Is that what we're seeing? Eight of Wands. Oh my God. Yes. Yes. And she is not going to expect this. It's like mask off. Fucking mask off. Sorry, I always think of Future when I mask off is that song. This is huge communication, and this is like laying it all out, not saying that she even wants to hear all of this perhaps, but he's saying it's time. I just need to tell her everything. What might come of that? Seven of Swords, followed by the King of Pentacles. Okay, I mean, like, his guides are saying, tell every truth that used to be a lie. Lay it all out and let her decide if he's saying, I lied, but I wanted to be your King of Pentacles, your King of Wands. She's either going to think he's nothing but a liar, or she's going to say, well, you did lie, but you might be my King of Coins. The way this thing, I mean, this is basically what he's been trying to avoid, right? Is having it get to the point where he's got to reveal all and feels like her day of judgment is going to come because he's going to be seen as somebody who lied. That is what he's been trying to run from all this time and been focusing on, but I love her, I love her, I love her, and been trying to run from, but I lied to her. You'll never be able to hide from that. So there's really no point in hiding it at this point either. And I think that's maybe where it's like, finally, let's just let the chips fall. Let's take off the mask. Let's say it all. Let me fill her in on absolutely everything that I did, everything that I hid from her. And then also let me say, and despite all that, I want to be your man or woman. If that's what he's about to say is, I lied about this, I lied about that, I hid this from you. Because I wanted to be with you and I didn't want you to not want to be with me. And so here's what I did. This looks like full disclosure. Holy smokes. That's a hell of a Valentine's Day gift, right? Well, guess what? The High Priestess is like, wow, that confirms like literally everything. Everything. Everything I thought is all of these things. It's all, there. What does that mean for you? Does that mean that finally I can tell that he's turning over a new leaf? Finally, he's not the man who would do that all over again, because he's actually standing there and he's owning it. He's sending me the gift, the message, the entire disclosure. Is he finally someone that I know is different because he's doing things different? Or we have the Ace of Cups in the reverse. Or is she saying, now I know he's not the man for me, now that I know the full scope of it? Ace of Cups is in the reverse. It's either that she's saying, I understand why he did it, because he was afraid I wouldn't love him if he started out telling me the reality of his situation. She's seeing him as very strong for actually saying all of this. And, a High Priestess understands the underlying energy. If he is able to come forward and lay everything out, own the mistakes he's made, I think that's the only way she'll ever be able to look at him like he could actually be someone that I would want to be with, because I understand he thought I wouldn't love him given the circumstances. He's got the guts to tell me the truth. I mean, maybe way belated, but he's also been trying to fix things. And he's also, even though it's not all done yet, he's he's made enough progress and he's at the point where he wants to tell me the actual truth of everything. You got to have some courage, or have grown into some courage, to be able to face the mistakes that you've made and to face me. I don't know. This actually, let me put it this way. If there's any chance for this connection, this is it. This is the only chance that these two have, because it's the only way I think that she would accept and be able to comprehend. This is him working on things. This is him having worked on himself. This is him trying to set things right, even though, look, in all fairness, I know we've talked about this, like, oh, this was such a you know, why did he screw this up? Why did he do this in the first place? Like, but there's a lot of cogs moving here, and rarely is anything so simple as, oh, I was just being indulgent. You know, there's a lot more depth to this character. I'm not sure that I've conveyed it very well, but this card says a lot. Dwayne Weathers, hey, Angel. Thank you so much, Dwayne. You're so generous. Thank you. There is a lot that has happened in his life. There is a lot that... there's a lot of moving parts, and sometimes there are things that we get, you know, imagine if you had a stick jammed in any of these cogs. Guess what? None of the other cogs move. You know, one problem can actually stop everything and can impact all kinds of things. And it could have even been something that at the time he didn't even realize what a huge mistake he was making. And then it was like, holy shit, everything is a mess. And now I have to try to repair like 7 things all at once, including the thing I just messed up with this woman that I know I'm in love with. First, I thought it was just, wow, I met this person that I love. I know I've got some stuff I got to work out, but I didn't even realize when I did that, when I made this one wrong step, that it would have such, it's like the world came crashing down. He had a lot to fix. And it is kind of like his moment of, well, who are you? When you realize that you made some really big mistakes and you realize the depth of those mistakes, are you the person who goes to hell and back to fix it, even though it's a lot harder to dig yourself out of that hole and fix it? Or are you the person who just tries to keep running from it? He is the kind who decided to start fixing it. I can see why she might say, this is actually somebody I could see myself with. Yeah, maybe not right now. It would take a while for me to be talking to him again and building maybe just a friendship. And maybe it's better that he can't really come toward her just yet. He will be able to, from what we can tell. It just might still take some time. But maybe that's exactly the way it needs to go. If she's going to be able to build some kind of rapport, some kind of trust with him, he cannot show up on her doorstep with like, okay, I fixed everything that was wrong. Now, don't you love me? Because that's not going to go down well either. Honestly, in this storyline, for as strange as it is, if he sends that message and signs his name to it, sends that gift and gives the full explanation of everything, that is the only way, even though he doesn't know it yet, that is the only way that door is ever going to be open to him again. And then the fact that he cannot yet really be in her life is actually the best thing possible, because part of the work that he has to do is she has to be able to start seeing him as somebody truthful. She has to be able to see the change in him, and that's going to take time before she'd believe it. So these two have to be able to maybe talk on a consistent basis as friends, not as lovers, not as anything, because there's got to be some kind of connection that gets rebuilt, and it's going to be piece by piece. And it's not like, oh, he has to crawl, he has to prove himself, she's going to put him through all these hoops. It's not that. It's, in fact, if anything, I think she already accepts and comprehends, I know exactly why he did that, but it's still, I'm not sure yet if this is like, is he now the man that would never do that again? Has he made these changes now? I got to see who he is now. I'm not mad at him for the past. I even understand why he made such epic mistakes with me, but who is he now? I gotta know that the words he says are things I'm sure are true. That's gonna take time. And it's not like, well, he cheated on me, so now I have to figure this out. We didn't see him cheating on her. What we saw is a situation that pre-existed, and it was complicated, and he was not really accepting just how much complication he actually had in his life, and just how difficult it would be for him to actually offer her the things that his heart wanted to. And I do think that's really important. This is not a story of somebody that was out there cheating on her. This is not somebody that was an inherent liar, but this is somebody whose actions and life ended up getting really, you know what I'm picturing in my head right now is if you've ever like had your laundry get all tangled around each other and it's like your pant legs are wrapped around like a boa constrictor around, you know, other clothes, and everything is just like a big mess, and it throws your whole washing machine off and it's thudding as it's spinning, and you have to stop it and open everything and shake all the clothes out, put them back in a proper arrangement and go one more time. Like that's basically what happens. Sometimes you don't know just how bad things are going to get. That's the only way I could describe this one. All right, you guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me. Thank you so much for giving it a thumbs up and subscribing. If you do enjoy the fact that I do sometimes these big, huge, long extendeds and multiple parters and make them available to everybody instead of, you know, making them hidden or something like that. Thank you so much for choosing to give my channel a thumbs up. I try to always be, I don't know, just like mindful that if you want to hear the other part of the story, I try to make it really accessible. So anyway, thank you guys for supporting my art and my channel. If you do enjoy it, I see that there's like 174 of you who gave it a thumbs up. Thank you so much out of the 400 that were with me. It's not even half, but I'll still say thank you. All right, you guys, take care. Lots of love. Bye for right now. Thank you again so much for your beautiful donations. Oh my gosh. Dwayne, Unique to Freak. Thank you, honey. Thank you so much. And Michelle, again, thank you so, so much. I really appreciate it. All right, you guys, take care. Oh, no, Zakia, I don't leave my comments on anymore. I have nothing but scammers and just all kinds of problems. So comments can't be on anymore, except on these rare occasions. And even today I had to monitor all day. It's so disappointing because it would be awesome if I didn't have people coming in trying to scam you guys, but it's every single time. And I'm just like, no, I'm going to keep everybody safe. And it's like a lot of stress not on my shoulders also. So instead I like to do these lives and then we get to talk in real time. And I always think that that's maybe a little bit more fun anyway. So yeah, I just won't host scammers and stuff. And so, yeah. Anyway, thank you, Zakia. I am so honored you're here. And thank you. I love the fact that you want to be able to drop comments. That just so warms my heart. So thank you. Patricia, you angel. Thank you, honey. EM, it is my pleasure. Thank you, Violet. You guys had popcorn ready. I did not expect this to go an hour. The light, it is my pleasure. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks again, Michelle. Awaken your ambition now. Good to see you. Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Stivet. Zoe, Butterfly Catnip Queen. You guys are so awesome. I really appreciate it. Jean Y, Rain Swept Flower, thank you. Thanks again, Patricia. Neandria Rini, so good to see you. I'll do a couple of other zodiacs still tonight also. Thanks again, Butterfly Catnip Queen. Samira, great to catch you, love. Rachel's Magic and Jenny. Hey, hey. Hey, Voyager 2. Tammy's Accords in the house. Stevette. I'm sorry, it won't let me back up any further. I know there was more of you in here, and forgive me if I didn't get to say hi properly, you guys, but if I'm on for a long time, I can't see the entire chat. It won't let me back all the way up to the beginning. So my apologies to anybody that I didn't get to say hi to, but Jessica Rios. Hi. Hi, Thalia. AC. Thank you, everybody. Ask Alicia. Good to catch you. All right, you guys. Lots of love. Bye for right now. Yale Rubin. Good to see you. Bye, guys.